here. This is my first time filming a YouTube video. I got inspired by Cameron Dallas. I was watching one of his videos and was like, oh my god, I have to try this. So I thought maybe I should try something new in the first place, and this would be something that I could try. This video is called Start Tag, and I'll put the link down below so you can check that out if you want to. I thought today I could film a video on my experience with the United 26 tour that D2 tour presented, and I'll tell you right now, that was like one of the best days of my life. Like, I'll never forget that day. Anyways, so it started out when we got there. We got there around 10, and the showing, when they let you in, you would go in at 1, was when the doors would open, and that was for if you had VIP. And there is also GA, general admission, which you didn't really get to meet them, but you still got to see them, and you sat up higher when you watched their little show that they performed. But if you had VIP, the doors opened at 1 for you, and for the general admission, they opened at 2. And so I had VIP, and it was $119, and when I got to the point where I could see the doors, I was like freaking out, even though it was only like 10 o'clock, and I still had like 3 hours to wait until the doors opened. I was so really excited I was there, and I knew that I was going to get to meet them. So it was a really good feeling for me and a few of my friends that I went with. Anyways, so we were standing in line, and it was like an hour or so in, and we were like all bored on our phones, and then like our phones were dying, so we had to like turn them off, and then we were just standing there talking to each other, and then we had nothing like to talk about. So then we were overhearing this lady talk to another guy about the tour bus, and so we're like, oh my god, where's the tour bus parked at? And so then we finally like saw her point, and so we ran down there as fast as we could, and we're like screaming and yelling, and like then finally Johnah comes out, and he's like, hi guys, and everyone started screaming really loud, and then my eyes got all teary, and it was like, oh my god, this is happening, they're right there, they're right in front of me. And then there's some other girls that were like, tell Hayes hi for me, and he's like, oh my god, I will. And so then we were standing there, and like holding onto the bars of this fence that was in front of us, and we're like, Hayes, 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 and everyone's shouting Hayes. And then like, eventually Tez came out, and then Hayes came out with him, and Hayes waved at us, and we all were screaming and yelling, and Tez said hi to us, that he loved us, and that was a really good feeling too. Like, it just felt good. Like, and then when Hayes came out, like, it wasn't just me, there's other girls, we also like crying and stuff, and then we heard others screaming back at the doors. We're like, what could this be? So we ran back, and we saw that there was more girls getting in line, so we're like, oh, and so then we got our parents to wait in line for us, and so then we ran back to the tour bus, and we saw Skye, and it was like heart racing. Like, it was like, oh my god, he's standing right there, you're like 10 feet away from him, this is happening. And it was really like heart-drenching moment. It was great. And so then we walked back to line, and we only had like 2 more hours to wait, and so then we decided to just stay down by the tour bus. We were sitting there, we got a little closer to it, we walked around the different side of where the tour bus was parked and got a look at the side of it, took lots of pictures, and then we met a few girls there, and we're like, where do you guys live? We talked to them for a while, and then we finally were there for like long enough that we went back and stood in line, and the doors finally opened, and everyone was like freaking out because Hayes, you could see him, and everyone was screaming, and there was lots of yelling, and then we had the security guard sign our hands, and he didn't really seem very thrilled about it, but he still did it. And then after a while, we finally moved up in line, and then I could see Hayes like hugging another girl, and it was like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet him. And so then we walked in there, and you gave them their ticket, and they scanned it, and then they asked you like, do you want to keep it or not? And so I was like, no, thank you. And then they put the stamp on your wrist right here, and it was like a stamp that was like, it doesn't show, but it was like clear, and then they shined a light on it just to make sure that you were verified to go in. And so I had that on my hand, and I was like wishing I could see it. I was upset that I couldn't because I really wanted to take a picture of it. And then I finally got up to there where I could see Hayes like right in front of me, and I was like freaking out. And then finally it was my turn, and I ran up to him, and I hugged him, and I was like bawling. And then he told me that he liked my shirt, and it's black, and it looks like this. I got this. off of HayesGrier.com. You can go there and get this. And so when he told me that, I freaked out. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then he's like, oh, don't cry, because I was bawling, and I couldn't get my head straight that I was in his arms right now. And so I was freaking out, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I got pictures and videos of that. And then my time was up with Hayes, and I was really upset. I was I told him that I loved him, and then he told me that he loved me too, and it was a good feeling. And then I walked to Johnah Maris, and he just said hi to me and asked me how I was, and I hugged him, and we took pictures together. And then the next person I went to after Johnah was Alec Bailey, and Alec gave really good hugs, and he smiled and took pictures, asked me how I was and if I was ready for the show. I was yes, totally. Oh my god, it's so great to meet you. And then next was Daniel Skye. Oh my god, I cannot even tell you. I wrote them, Hayes and Daniel both, I wrote them letters, and I gave Daniel his, and he hugged me, told me I was beautiful, and I was oh my god, you gotta be kidding me right now, this is happening. And then he hugged me and asked me what my name is, and I was my name's Alexis. He's you have a beautiful name, and I was so excited, and it was just great. And then after Daniel, I went to Tez, and Tez, he just wrapped me up in his arms. He's oh my god, you're beautiful. And I was oh my god, thank you. And so then we talked for a little bit, and then we got our pictures taken, and I was freaking out. I was so excited, and I did not know what to do with myself. I was this is not real. I'm dreaming right now. And then after Tez, I walked to Aaron Carpenter, and Aaron hugged me, and he asked me how I was, and asked me my name. And I told my name. He's oh, you have a beautiful name, it suits you. And I was oh my god, thank you so much. And then we had to wait a little while for our pictures. So we were talking about some other stuff, and just life in general. And then he hugged me, and then I had to go. So he's I love you, beautiful. And I was I love you too. And then after the meet and greet part, you walked over, and it was you got a poster that said United 26 Tour, DG Tour Presents, and it had all the cities that they were going to on the bottom. And if you were VIP, you got one of these lanyards. It says DG Tour United 26 Tour VIP. So it looks like this. It's front and back, and it's just a little lanyard you can put on your neck. And when I got that, I was this is happening. I was so excited. I didn't know what to think. And then they had where you could buy your merch, and they had a whole set. There were shorts you could buy. There were shirts for each person, and I decided to get the Daniel Skye shirt. And it's just black and white with white sleeves, and it's black on the top, and it says Daniel Skye with black letters, and it's white, and they only had small, medium, and the sizes, and I was so excited. So I got that, since I already had my Hayes shirt. I was freaking out. And then we walked into the auditorium where the show was, and we sat there and waited for 4 hours. Well, we stood and waited for 4 hours for the show, and there was lots of pushing and shoving, and girls being mean to each other. It's just a whole fiasco. And then the show happened, and it was just thrilling to the mind. There was screaming and yelling, and it was just loud, but it was fun. They did, Alex sang, and Daniel sang, and Johnah sang his single, and Alyssa sang. Oh yeah, I also met Alyssa Shouse, but yeah, she's really pretty. So then after that, we went to after the show, you just walked out, and you had to go out the door. But before the show ended, they went about how they did food fight. It was all based on school, and so they had lockers in the background. They had school desks set up, and they had a food fight, and so they all dressed up in food costumes. Tez was wearing a bacon suit, and Aaron was wearing a banana suit, and Hayes was wearing the half of a peanut butter sandwich, and Daniel Skye was wearing half of a jelly sandwich, and they just looked dorky, but it was really funny. And then they danced and stuff, and that was fun. And then they did the cheer tryouts, and they had high-waisted shorts and shirts that they were that said DG Tour, and they did body rolls and dance. That was really fun to watch. And it was the show of your lifetime. You never wanted it to be over, but when it was over, you're dang. When you got out there, you're oh my god, I'm so glad I left. So when I got out, I went and stood by the tour bus for an hour and a half waiting for them to come out, and they never did. So I just gave my stuff to my friends, and then I went home. And yeah, that's my experience with DG Tour. the United 26 tour. It was very fun. It's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I hope you guys get to experience sometime because it's absolutely amazing. And, you know, like, it seems like, you know, you're like, oh my god, they're just people, but no, they're people that, they love their fans, and they're not just doing this just for themselves, they're doing it for you too. They know how it makes you feel, and, I mean, Cameron Dallas putting out there that people should try new things and stuff, that, it really gave me the vibe to try this, and I hope it goes somewhere with whatever it can go, and I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you all enjoy watching it. So just a thumbs up my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Deodorant is bomb, guys. Just